Welcome to What's Up, Bolts. See, the voice is getting a little better. I'm Fernando Ramirez. That's Dan and Daygo. Not too happy knowing that there's another Whiskey Sour Wednesday on the way. Chargers lose 27-20 to the Las Vegas Raiders. They fall to 6-6, which makes their path now trying to make it to the playoffs a lot harder, especially with the schedule that they have coming up, especially with some of the injuries that they sustained again on Sunday. And obviously, there's a lot of factors going into this. But Dan, obviously, I kind of spoiled it a little bit, but how are you feeling?
I'm wearing black black for morning. I think right now, I know it's probably early and people are going to say it's premature or whatever, but I don't really see how you pull it off a playoff spot this late in the season, this late in the year. You can't do the basics and tackle, can't do the basics and protect. A lot of miscommunication on the offensive line again today. You know, it's just not looking good. And I don't know how you try and pull this team out of a rut so late in the year. You know, you have it early in the middle. I understand, like, there's still time to pull it out. But right now, it's essentially playoff football. And you losing not only in conference, but in the division, you know, that's not good at all. Especially, you know, you have these stooges talking trash about the son of Odin, and it's only going to get louder, right? So somebody's going to look for a scapegoat at some point. I don't know how you turn around the year this late.
Yeah, it wasn't a good look on Sunday for the Chargers. There was a lot of how do I put this? There was a lot of there was it's like you said, there wasn't good offensive line play. Obviously there was no Trey Pipkins, no Rashawn Slater. Jamari Salyer for the first time. I mean, last week he gave up his first sack. Today he looked like a rookie. Like Chandler Jones made him look bad. So today was our first glimpse to see what he would look like, and it was not a good look overall for him. The kid was rushed the whole time.
Herbert had no time. He couldn't get comfortable. Then the worst part is you don't make the adjustment of trying to get quicker routes and quicker things open, and you're essentially setting him up for failure. You know, Jeff tweeted this out. Shout out, Sir Jeffrey. I think he said going into this game, Chandler Jones had like 0.5 sacks, and he got like 3 today, I think, or so. So that kind of tells you everything you need to know about how the game went.
Chandler Jones had 3 sacks, 5 quarterback hits, and 2 tackles for loss. So overall, the Raiders had 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14 hits on the quarterback.
Terrible.
14 hits on the quarterback, and they sacked him 5 times.
Yep. Yeah. So, you essentially at one point are going with 4 backup offensive linemen, and it essentially went the way you thought it would. So
in turn, the Chargers had 0 sacks today, and they had 2 quarterback hits.
There were sometimes it was unexplainable. They would blitz, you know, maybe 5 or 6 or so, and they still couldn't get to him. They picked it up right away like nothing. I mean, and there were some DBs going in, and I get it. DBs aren't the best for that stuff, but
it's interesting because one of the things that I remember Joey Bosa would do, and I don't see a lot of these guys doing it, is they would get their hands in there. Like, even if they're not getting to Derek Carr, you put your hands up and you start disrupting him, trying to kind of get in his face. And I didn't see it. Khalil did it a couple of times, but I just didn't see it from a lot of different of the guys. And I'm kind of like, I wonder what. I wonder if that's just something that Joey's done that's always done, and it's just off of his reticence, or if it's Gift Smith or kind of what that is. But that's always been interesting about him. Obviously, the Chargers aren't going to be happy with any of this. I mean, they really they couldn't get going on offense. Then on defense, they really struggled. I mean, I'm telling you, like, Justin Herbert was getting hit after hit, taking all kinds of hits at the beginning of the game, and that kind of started off the game kind of rough for them, and that's why, like, if you saw at the beginning of the game, the Chargers only scored 7. They scored 13 points. 7 of them were from a pick 6 from Bryce Callahan, and other than that, they only scored that last touchdown at the end of the game. So realistically, you only scored 13 points as an offense today against the Las Vegas Raiders, who have one of the worst, not one, yeah, they have one of the worst defenses in the NFL. So it was just inexcusable. It was not a good performance by the Chargers.
No.
And I don't want to throw the E word out there, but they should feel a little embarrassed after the performance that they put up on Sunday.
100%, because it's the MO of this whole, it's not just this year. We've seen it time and time again. I'm going to speak for myself as a follower of the team, where it's always, overhyped in the offseason. In the season, they play down to the level of their opponents. They don't know how to execute. And this is what you get. You lose to inferior teams. And then now late in the year, when you need these type of wins, you're going to continue to do the same things, because bad habits are a hell of a thing to try and get rid of, especially this late. And, we've seen this time and time again. I'm a student of history, and I know it's coming, and it still breaks my heart.
It's interesting also because, obviously there's two things you need to be careful about when you look at the Las Vegas Raiders. Davante Adams, Josh Jacobs. Those are the two things. Those are the two guys that you need to worry about. The Chargers gave up. Let me go to offense. The Chargers let Davante Adams go for 8 catches, 177 yards, and two touchdowns.
Yeah.
And then Josh Jacobs, 26 carries, 144 yards, 1 touchdown. I don't count Derek Carr in this because
he's a stooge throwing to open receivers. Yeah.
Yeah, he threw 8 passes to Davante Adams. Most of his yards went to Davante Adams. So I'm just going Davante Adams and Josh Jacobs. Those were the two guys that hurt him.
Imagine if Darren Waller would have played, seriously.
Hunter Renfrow didn't play either.
Yeah, exactly. My God.
But then at the same time, like, Charger fans could flip that and say, well, what if Joey Bosa would have played? Well, what if Austin Johnson and all these?
I guess.
You're right. It's a of
course, it goes both ways. It's double-edged swords. It cuts and it cuts you. Yeah, I get it.
Exactly. So, folks, we will be right now, as soon as Brandon Staley heads to the podium, we will be taking that over and seeing what he has to say about just another terrible loss. It's really starting to mount for these guys, and I think the Chargers were 6-1 coming into this game against teams with a losing record. Now they're 6-2, and this one's going to sting because you have Tennessee coming, or you have the Miami Dolphins on Sunday Night Football, which is kind of a drag for me, but I'm like, why? Then after that, you face Tennessee. And by the way, if this is exactly what you're going to do against Derrick Henry, and I think Josh Jacobs is good, but I think Derrick Henry is a step or two ahead of him. Can you
obviously
what he's going to do?
That's like a left tackle running the football at like 4.4 speed or something, like whatever his speed is. But that's going to be a real tough one. And the linebackers, if they're not careful, are going to
let's go to Brandon Staley. He is at the podium now for the Chargers.
Derrick Henry's wild. He's a freaking fridge, dude.
Talk a little bit about the trying to protect Justin and the pressure they were getting on, especially early.
I know that voice.
Yeah, it was tough out there. The rush was coming. They had a lot of different designer looks up. They brought a lot of cover zero tonight. There's just a lot of different personnel groupings in there. There was a lot of people in there, and I thought that we were good at times, and then at times, a little bit leaky. Didn't run the ball well enough. But I thought he managed it well. I thought he was able to protect the football, but the heat was on him for sure. Yeah, we were trying to make good adjustments based on some of the looks, making sure that he was protected, make sure we were giving enough of help to our tackles, and then do enough to get our guys open. So I thought we made some good adjustments, but just didn't do well enough today.
Do you feel like the third quarter kind of snowballed a little bit with a fumble and then the quick scores by them?
Yeah, the third quarter was where the game was decided today. Coming out of the half, we had a good screen going, fumble, and then we give up a tough pass in the end zone. It was really a good throw and catch. We were right on him. You give credit to them. And then the next drive, it's a 2-play drive, kind of the one punch on the flea flicker. Bryce kind of pulled up at the end, but that was the story, those 2 big passes, and give credit to them. Yeah, that was big. We didn't capitalize on our opportunities in the first half, and I thought that was kind of the story of the first half was we weren't able to capitalize on big opportunities. Those two plays that you mentioned, and then defensively we were playing at a really high level. So I felt like we had some opportunities to probably make that a bigger lead than what we had, and that was another big part of the game was that first half not coming up with enough points. Yeah, I mean, we like that down and distance. We like the matchup, Keenan versus 39. And, they just made a play and we didn't.
When Keenan grabs the touchdown pass, Justin, there's plenty of time left. Do you sense the guys think, maybe we can do this, we can do this?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think when we knocked that one down, number one, no one's surprised that we made that. But two, I think everyone had a lot of confidence that we'd get a stop and be able to get the ball back with enough time to go on a drive. And that's exactly what we did. We were able to get a big stop, get the ball back to our offense, and they were moving it, and we had a really good chance there to tie or go for two to take the lead. So, I thought our guys competed in the fourth quarter and gave us a chance. He was dealing with a shoulder injury.
How do you think that those young guys, especially in that offensive line, played given what they were up against?
Yeah, I thought that those guys competed like they always do. They're trying to play tough. We were trying to, make some adjustments throughout the game. Some of the looks that they were giving us, and that group always plays, tough for us. And those guys, the more they see, the better off they're going to play. And Will gave us everything he had, and so did Foster. So, proud of the way our guys always play hard and tough.
So there you have Brandon Staley talking about what he thought about the game. I kind of disagree with him in the sense of he's like, I thought we were doing we started doing a good job of protecting Justin. I don't think it was them. It was just that Justin at one point started kind of feeling exactly what was going on, and I feel like he evaded it. I mean, the play call, yeah, they were running different things to kind of throw off the Raiders, but it's kind of like, well, where was that the whole game? Why weren't you doing that the whole game?
That's been the story of the season. Frau. It's always the same thing in the second half. The Chargers aren't doing much. Then all of a sudden in garbage time or towards the end, they get a meaningless touchdown or a score. And it's the end of the game anyway, and they end up losing.
I just thought the whole offensive line played pretty bad. I mean, I'm not going to give Zion Johnson. I don't know if I'd put Zion Johnson in there just because I thought he played you could tell at the beginning they were making friggin' Jerry Tillery look like an all-pro, which we all know Jerry Tillery is nothing near an all-pro. There's a reason why he got waived by the Chargers.
First off, I hate the word wave. We know what it is. It's freaking cut. His ass got cut.
No. They're waving. Bye-bye.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
No, but in all honesty, they were Braden Hamas had to come in there. Brendan Hamas had to come in there to guard him, and he could not handle Jerry Tillery at all. And in one of those, I mean, I saw that he kind of hit Herbert. He kind of wouldn't get off of him, and then Justin kind of said something to him, and then Tillery turned around and said, "I didn't do nothing." But but I mean, I've been there at those practices. You've seen them at practices before where Justin has gotten a little heated with Jerry because Jerry has hit him in the past, and
he's gone too hard. He doesn't understand to pull up on the quarterback. Yeah,
Gilbert and I were both there last year, not this year, last year, where he hit the quarterback and Justin's like, "Dude," and kind of shoved him, and Jerry's like, "I didn't do nothing." Yeah, no, you know what you did, so.
You didn't stomp on that USC player either.
Okay, we're not going to get into that.
Okay.
So obviously, I just think it's a bad look. I mean, I know the offense played well, or the offense sort of played well last week, but it was the same thing too. In the second half, they couldn't score any points. So it's kind of like, okay, why should people believe that if Mike Williams comes back and Mike Williams is productive, that they're going to be able to score points? They haven't been able to. It's been tough. I don't know what they're at right now, but I mean, if you look at it, Justin completed about 60% of his passes. He threw for 335 yards and for 1 touchdown. And that was a great touchdown to Keenan Allen. But he's throwing 7.1 yards per attempt today, which is actually up from what he's been doing lately.
Yeah.
But, man, it was rough. I mean, it just and then I didn't like that fourth down call at the end of towards the end of the game. Why would you throw to DeAndre Carter? Like, I understand maybe Josh Palmer's gonna not be open or so. Then do something creative with Gerald Everett. Do something else to get Keenan open. I don't know. I didn't like that they went to DeAndre Carter, and I didn't like the way Justin kind of threw it because I thought he threw it more towards the sideline. It's like, dude, give the guy, even if it's intercepted, F it. Like,
it's fourth down anyway.
make the play.
I think what they saw, at least from what I saw on obviously at home or whatever, it looked like he had a one-on-one matchup. So he
did.
Yeah. That's the only reason I could think to go to him, but it's like, my God, that's not Mike Will over there.
Yeah.
That's not Mike.
So exactly. So that's why it's kind of like, okay, well,
which I mean, mind you, that's no disrespect to Carter either. He stepped up a lot this year. I mean, just kind of in crunch time.
No, I understand that. No, and he has stepped up. But the thing is, in those situations, you don't go to him. Yeah. You go to Keenan Allen. You go even to a Gerald Everett or you do something else. But it wasn't a good look. I mean, right now the Chargers we're
with the Patriots. They're with the Patriots.
They're averaging 20. No. They're averaging 22.9 points a game. You're right in the middle. Oh, you're in the middle. No, you're towards the top. But I don't know. Oh, well, it's going to change right now because they still haven't added today's game.
You know what was kind of, what's also been the theme of the season is what Brandon Staley said. That one big play decided the game today. It's like you've seen that all season, whether it's big runs from.
No, he said the third quarter.
Yeah, but it was a big play is what I'm saying. He said a big play.
No. Yeah, but there was 3 big plays. It was the Austin Eckler fumble.
Yeah, I know that one.
Adams touchdowns.
Well, I think he said one of the touchdowns decided the game, which was a big play or whatever. The point is, big plays have decided the whole freaking the games this season.
I thought what really turned the game around because the Chargers had scored right before halftime. Then Daniel Carlson misses his field goal right before the half, and it felt like the Chargers had a little bit of momentum. You come out, you run a great play with Austin Eckler. He fumbles, and it's like, okay, that's when the game turned around. That's when the Raiders got all the momentum. And they ended up scoring. And then I think they kind of put it in neutral after that. And that's when the Chargers kind of came back a little bit. But that fumble by Austin Eckler, I think, cost them almost the game. Because that was a 14-point swing. Like, those guys scored 2 touchdowns in a row. And Davante Adams was just going nuts. And he was left wide open in almost every time he would catch the ball. There was always somebody, nobody was around him at times. And you're kind of like, okay, dude, like, why is no one around this guy? So it didn't matter who they put on him. They put Bryce Callahan. I mean, Bryce Callahan, like I said,
he's been good.
Like I tweeted out today, he's been a hidden gem. I think the Chargers are very lucky to have gotten him. I think they should re-sign him in the offseason. But they tried him, couldn't handle Davante. They tried Bryce or Michael Davis. He certainly couldn't handle Davante. No. Then they tried Asante Samuel Jr. He struggled as well. So it's kind of like, okay, who are you going to turn to? That's why you had brought J.C. Jackson in to be able to go up against Davante Adams. Unfortunately, J.C. Jackson is out for the season, and we don't know how much longer he's going to be out because that injury that he has is pretty significant. But it's a bad recipe if you're letting Justin Herbert get the crap beat out of him, but you're not beating the crap out of the opposing quarterback. Like, literally, Derek Carr's jersey was pretty clean today.
Exactly, and that was the craziest part. It's like, you would think, seriously, the roles were reversed by the way the game was played today. You would think the Raiders are the ones 6-5 hunting that wild card spot, the way they came out with piss and vinegar fired up. And it's like the Chargers look flat again. Like, your only touchdown in the first half, if I remember, it's just a pick 6, 2 field goals. Then you get 1 touchdown late. And it's like that hasn't been enough all season, especially because coming down the stretch, you have 2 good teams back to back. And if you fall 6 and let's see, what's 2,
6
8,
and 7, 6 and 8,
6 and 8,
6 and 8, you're done. 6 and 8, you're done.
100%. Oh yeah, because you can't even. You're right. It's not 8 and 8 anymore. You finish.
No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, who do they have left?
So here are the standings right now.
6 and 6. And behind the Patriots.
You're ninth behind the Patriots.
Oh, and the Raiders are only a game behind the Chargers
because of the win today.
Exactly, and then especially who do the Raiders play?
This is going to change though, because the Raiders I think are 6 and 7, not 5 and. Oh, maybe they were 4 and 7.
No, they were 4 and 7. Yeah, they were 4 and 7.
But that adds up to 12. Oh, this
Oh,
is
I have
12
no
also.
idea.
No, you're right. Here, let's go to Justin Herbert and see what Justin Herbert has to say about the way that the team played today. We're going to get you guys over to him and see what he has to say.
How challenging was it for you today, especially for three guys?
Yeah, it's unfortunate that we didn't make enough plays today. It kind of got off to a slow start. I thought the defense did a great job of getting stops all day. They got a couple turnovers that was big for us, and unfortunately couldn't capitalize on those.
Was there a challenge in kind of trying to adjust up to I know left tackle at the same time, but right tackle at the center, and for you as a quarterback, how challenging is that to get in flow when it's different up front?
I thought they did a great job of battling. It's never easy going up against a front seven like that. They're very talented. They're very, very well coached on that side of the ball. And it was a tough day for us, but those guys stepped up. They battled, and I really respect that from them.
Justin, to not get points after the fake punt and then the fumble at the beginning, early in the game, how much did that kind of set you guys back just offensively?
It's a long game. There are plenty of times to score in the second, third, fourth quarter. Unfortunately, we didn't make enough plays today.
Spectacular play to Keenan. How do you guys try to manage to just be more consistent throughout the game? Because you seem to always kind of pull out spectacular plays when needed. But sometimes, obviously, you don't have enough time to continue to do that.
We're just trying to move the ball as much as we can, convert on third down, limit turnovers, and push the ball downfield, and get the run game involved. Just do the things that we know that we can do.
Big picture, falling to 6-6, and with two very good teams coming to town. What's your take on kind of where this puts you guys in the bigger picture playoff race?
There's a lot of football ahead. We've got 5 more games left, and a lot of football. And it's unfortunate we dropped this one, but we're going to show up tomorrow. We're going to get better, and we're going to watch the film on this one, and we'll get ready for our next opponent.
Is there anything you say to the team after a game like this, just to make sure you guys can get behind you quickly and move on?
Just to move on. Thinking and worrying about this one isn't going to help us with the next one. So we got to watch the film, get better from it, and move on to the next one. Sorry, could you?
It took a little while for you to target Keenan and get him kind of involved. Saying the Raiders were doing, take that away?
Just playing the play, doing everything we can to get the ball moving. Going through our reads, our progressions, and getting the ball out to the open guy. We could have done a better job of that, but I thought he did a great job battling all day.
It's funny hearing him answer. You would think he's a New England Patriot. The way
I know.
On to the next week. Oh, we're gonna check the film. Didn't make enough plays, going through our progressions and everything else.
He's not wrong, though. I mean, I guess the players are going to have to settle down and just think about the next 2 opponents. I mean, heck.
You have to.
And but this is the craziest part, though, is that, I've been around the team for years. You followed the team for years, but it's like they could have said, in Chargers past, they could win these next two games, set themselves up, and then everybody's going to be like, oh my God, look, are the Chargers back? Are they rejuvenated?
Yeah.
We don't know that. I'll tell you one thing: the Raiders look like they may make a push late in the season, and then they're going to get guys back. They're going to get Darren Waller back, Hunter Renfrow back. With the Chargers, it's like you just
don't
lost.
know how much longer.
You might have just lost Sebastian Joseph Day. That knee injury didn't look good. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I'm not saying I'm not pretending to be Dr. Chow on Twitter, who knows it all. Well,
that's another one added, right? To an
he does it from his seat too. He's watching it at home and he's like, "Oh, it's this. You haven't even touched the knee." But
it's added to a long list, right? And that's the biggest thing. You don't even know
if you're and it honestly doesn't look like Joey Bosa is gonna
come back. Or what?
I wonder. Yeah, it doesn't look. I mean, okay, say you lose these next 2 games, you don't bring him back, right?
Why?
You don't risk him
hurt again? No.
Okay.
If you're already out of the playoffs now, it's all about and that's what I wanted to ask you towards the end of this. Like, there's already huge storylines that are going to go into the offseason that are not going to be pretty.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
It's not going to be a pretty offseason at all.
I mean, it just depends on, I guess, who you ask, but
and how you finish. But that's the thing. It's like if you lose against Tennessee and Miami, and say the Raiders win 2, who's in the well? You're
No, the
already
Raiders would have
behind.
already have jumped you.
Oh yeah, exactly, right. So
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's like at that point, is it even realistic to make the playoff run? Because who do you have in the back end if
No.
there's 5 games?
No, because look,
Yeah, you have the Colts, Rams, Broncos.
the Jet. Okay, look, they have the Jets are still in it.
Yeah,
The
7 and 5.
Patriots are, and heck, you even have to throw in Las Vegas is in there.
Yeah.
So if these guys lose the next 2 games, they could be down here.
Yeah.
So it's not
Yeah, it's not going to be pretty.
it's not a guarantee that the Chargers are anywhere near it after these next 2 games. And heck, honestly, like if after these next 2 games they lose, then it's like, okay, just shut Joey Bosa down for the rest of the season and see. I mean, there's a lot of questions that are going to be popping up, and I mean, I see the frustration from Chargers Twitter on in
Well,
my
and they've
comments
been
all this other stuff.
extremely loud.
Yeah, so and I know the frustration is everywhere. I mean, it's in the front office, it's on the coaching staff, it's everywhere. I mean, fans are mad at Joe Lombardi, fans are mad at everybody, and it's like and I understand why they're frustrated, but I mean, it's going to be interesting. I mean, you literally have these next 2 games to prove what you're going to do with the rest of your season. I mean, heck, not at this point last year, the Chargers were 7-5.
Yeah,
they were 7-5 going into this back end stretch. They end up losing they beat the Giants. They end up losing to the Chiefs. They end up losing to the Houston Texans.
Yeah,
they beat the Broncos, and then they end up losing to the Raiders. So you lost 3 out of your last 4, and you ended up not making the playoffs. So it's gonna be interesting. I mean, but it wasn't a good look today. And I mean, that's the thing. You're okay. You like listen to let me see.
And that's the worst part is that the only thing consistent the whole season has been consistently bad offensive play. And personally,
Daygo.
Exactly. And personally, I would argue our offensive line was worse last year, and I thought they looked better. I mean, mind you, I understand.
No, but last year you had
Mike was in there, yeah, and he wasn't hurt.
Okay, so look at this. You have where are they? You have Christian Wilkins, Jerome Baker, or no, Jerome Baker's not let me go to their depth chart instead.
But then that was
listen to what these guys are gonna have to face next week. You have Christian Wilkins, Raekwon Davis, Jalen Phillips, Justin Zimmer, Melvin Ingram, what's the other one? Bradley Chubb, Andrew Van
oh, that's right, Bradley Chubb in Miami.
Exactly. They have so many playmakers
yeah.
on that front 7 of Miami that it's gonna be next week is gonna be really tough.
Yeah,
it's gonna be tough, especially they're just gonna. I would pop in this Raiders film and I'd be like, okay, that's how you beat them. You just beat the crap out of them.
Yeah,
and that's what's gonna happen.
I wouldn't even throw the football, honestly.
What did I say again? I said,
oh, and they're seeing Tyreek Hill again, dude.
Yeah. So
and it's not just Davante Adams this time. It's gonna be Tyreek Hill, Waddle. It's gonna be wild.
You got hit 14 times, and your quarterback got sacked 5 times. Like.
Yeah,
it's gonna be rough, and I think that's the way Miami's gonna attack these guys. They're gonna try and just beat the crap out of Justin and slow down Keenan Allen unless Mike comes back. I mean, if Mike comes back, it may be a different story, but I just don't don't see how any of this happen. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to be.
Yeah, because the problem is, even if Mike does come back, like that helps the receiving core. But if he has no time to set up and throw, it's still going to be a long game.
I do want to give, and I know people are going to be like, oh, well, how can you give him credit? I want to give Justin a little bit of credit today. There wasn't a pass where I was like, oh crap, he almost threw that pick. Like today, he was pretty. I mean, with all the beating that he was taking, I
just wish you would throw the way she would make a decision.
Yeah, instead of getting sacked.
That's the only thing. Like I just wish he.
Go ahead.
Oh, well, I was going to say, I just wish he would protect himself a little more. Like, I get sometimes when he's running, he slides early to protect himself, but it's like, do the same thing in the pocket, dude. There's no sense to take abuse left and right. Like, if you can't run, just throw it at someone's feet.
I forgot to mention this. The Chargers also started off terribly. Like, okay, you get the Raiders to punt. Great job. You punt. Okay. You get the Raiders to fumble. Josh Jacobs' first fumble of the season. You have 4 plays. You go Austin Eckler up the middle 5 yards. Justin Herbert scrambles. Oh, that's the one where they made him like, I think they made him fumble and he only had 3 yards. Then he tries to pass. Oh, that was the one where he tried to pass it into the end zone, I think to Eckler.
Yeah, and he
Number
dropped it.
50.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that one I was like, okay, you could have probably ran for it, or then they go for it on
Exactly.
4th down. Then Chandler Jones got to Herbert, and it's like, okay, then you have the like right there. You easily could have gone for 3 points and then maybe been up 23 to or been up 3-0. Then the interception for a touchdown, 10-0. So there were some times where you're kind of like, dude, come on, like you should have. Oh my God, Anthony Davis just went for 55, 17 and 1.
This fool.
Anthony Davis is on fire right now. By the way,
That's
also
probably gonna start till February, dude, or March.
For the folks that are wondering about, and I know sometimes this is the funny part. I don't think we only have Charger fans. I think there's sometimes fans of other teams. Jimmy G has broken his foot, according to Ian Rappaport, and he will be out for the rest of the season.
Wow.
So that's pretty wild.
2.0, dude.
This is another thing too. If the 49ers are able to keep their nucleus together, I wonder if they're going to go out and get a Tom Brady or get a quarterback who's already established.
You'd have to
and bring him in. That'd be a lot of fun to see what they're going to do.
Because right, thank you for doing this, because this is a perfect segue, right? The 49ers are built exactly how I wish the Chargers would be built. They have a run game that is physical, led by Trent Williams, that'll wear you down, tire you out, and essentially Jimmy G, the quarterback, just there for a few play action, boom, a few dropbacks, boom. It's not the bread and butter to make the quarterback throw 44 times, which Justin Herbert threw today, which I told you last week is losing football. And on top of that, their defense is led by their front seven.
That was another thing too.
Games in the trenches, period.
That was another thing too. The Chargers kind of went away from the run again. God, these commercials.
Which they didn't need to, because the score was never out of reach.
No, I know, but so they ran the ball 22 times for 72 yards. Well, take away Justin running the football. So if you take away Justin running the football, it's 17 times for 63 yards, and take away 1.4. So you're averaging almost 4 yards a carry. By Austin and Josh Palmer. They both ran the ball for 17 yards combined for 65 yards. This is the problem though. Joshua Kelly to me keeps on getting push, and they sometimes go away from him, and I'm like, dude,
I don't understand that either.
Let this guy carry the ball a little bit more. Like, I don't know
how else are you going to develop? How else are you going to develop players if you don't get them snaps here and there?
Exactly.
Like especially obviously Austin Eckler's got to get back in there after the fumble. But like if he's playing well when you're getting them touches, just ride the hot hand, dude. Bring in Eckler as a receiver in the slot or something else.
That's another thing. In the first half, they were kind of doing that a little bit, putting Austin in motion, having him do different things. But they wouldn't, like, those play designs just wouldn't go anywhere. And you're kind of like, well, why don't you get more creative with it?
Yeah. You're like, thanks for the freaking tease or whatever that it's going to be something, and then it isn't.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a rough one.
There's a lot of questions. There's been a lot of questions.
No, yeah, and they're certain, and they're deservedly so. I mean, like I said last week, we gave Joe Lombardi credit. He had a good game plan, but there's still those questions where these guys haven't scored a touchdown. I think Pop tweeted out they haven't scored a third quarter touchdown since like week 6 or 5.
Wow, yeah.
So it's like, what the hell's going on? And then his offense, Joe Lombardi's offense, at times seems so stagnant, and it's like, well, what's going like? What, like, is it the players? Is it like, that's the thing. They're not going to tell you. They're not going to come out and say, well, look at who we have out there. But it's like, okay, well, there has to be some sort of explanation. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But like I said, Jamari Sawyer looked like he looked like a rookie today. So did Foster Sarrell also did not look good.
Because that's where Max Crosby shines most, against backup tackles.
Yeah, so
100%.
And I mean, Crosby wasn't even all that much of a he was in the sense of like he was getting back there, he was putting pressure, but it wasn't the way.
It wasn't like against Storm Norton.
Exactly. So so just one of those things where you're kind of like, okay, well, now what? So Chargers have 2 tough games coming up. It's going to be interesting to see kind of the way they decide to approach these next 2 weeks. We'll know more about Sebastian Joseph Day on Monday. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at RealFRamirez. I will have all the updates for you when we speak to Brandon Staley. I don't know what time we'll be speaking to him, but just make sure you have your alerts on, and as soon as I tweet it out, you'll get the alert on your phone. And follow Dan and Daygo. I think you're at Dan Daygo.
Yeah.
Make sure you follow him on Twitter. He
follow it if you want some funny content, dude.
Yeah, and he goes at Hilberto sometimes, so that's pretty funny to see. But again, we appreciate you guys so much for checking out. What's up, Bolts? Chargers lose 27-20 to the Raiders. They fall to 6-6, and there's a lot of questions now starting to pile up. And if they continue to lose like this, more and more questions will pile up. And I'm sure it's not going to get pretty.
No, because
right
now the ship that they're on, it's halfway in the water, dude. They're about to, it's almost about to hit the deck. You know what I mean? The water's about to top the deck.
So will Iron Man come and rescue it and put it together like he did in?
What are you talking about,
Homecoming?
What are you talking about, Frown? Aquaman.
No, Aquaman.
Isn't that the radar thing that he would do?
I don't remember.
I was trying to do it. It probably came out terribly. My bad.
But yeah, so definitely that's something so it's gonna be interesting, and we'll know more. We'll see who we'll get on this week as the Chargers face the Dolphins. We'll try and get a reporter on from Miami and talk all things Dolphins.
It's do or die time. It's do or die time. There's no other way to get around it. It's do or die time.
Dan Daygo's not mixing words.
No, like seriously, I don't know how many more of these winning your ins I'm gonna have to go through, and we lose the inferior teams. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. So yeah. Make sure you check out COMPAS on the Beat. We will be dropping a new episode on Wednesday. We'll have everything, all the stuff from this week in the NFL. Like are the Eagles? The Eagles just took down. They did a pretty good job against the Tennessee Titans. So are the Eagles really the team to beat in the NFC? We'll discuss that again. The Cincinnati, but don't look now, but the Cincinnati Bengals beat the Kansas City Chiefs. What's going on there? That's going to be interesting. And then obviously we have some good stuff on there. Combat COMPAS, don't forget to check that out as well. Tyson Fury had a fight over the weekend, and he said, "Hey, I'd love to fight Alexander Usyk in I think he said either in Saudi Arabia or in England."
Yeah.
And then he said, after that, I'm down to fight Deontay Wilder, make a fourth fight in Vegas. Excuse me.
And the other thing
in Vegas, what's up?
Yeah. I was just gonna say, so you understand how crappy my weekend has been. USC loses Friday, USA loses Saturday, and LAC loses freaking Sunday, dude. 0-3 this weekend for your boy. T's and P's.
Yeah, so there you go. Don't forget to check out Combat COMPAS. Deontay Wilder talks to us about maybe fighting him again. Andy Ruiz spoke to us about maybe him fighting Tyson Fury. So definitely some interesting stuff there. Don't forget to check out as well COMPAS FC. We will be breaking down the USA game. We will be doing some other stuff. Make sure you check that out. That's gonna be there's gonna be some good stuff coming out on the teams that win, and then we're previewing some good games. I mean, France versus England, that's going to be a good matchup. The Netherlands versus Argentina, some good matchups coming up pretty soon. So we appreciate you guys. Don't forget to check out House of Horns as well. Interesting game. The Rock was present, Kim Kardashian was present, but were the Rams present? That you can find out all that and more with Hilberto over there on House of Horns. But we appreciate you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your week. Happy holidays. We're getting close. Merry Christmas. We're getting close. I'm very excited. I can't wait to. And don't forget. And on this week on Comeback or on regular COMPAS on the Beat, I will be having a surprise for Hilberto. So stay tuned. The surprise that I have. So we appreciate you guys so much. That's Dan and Daygo. I'm Fernando Ramirez. We appreciate you guys. Don't forget, be a compa, tell a compa to like, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you guys like, how you guys are feeling, all of that. If you have any questions, we will answer them. We appreciate you guys. Be a compa, tell a compa. Thank you guys.